Everything else in your world is just yourself pushed out. You believe what you see, but this is asking you to believe what you don't see. And that's called faith. Do you believe God? Well, then act upon it like you do believe Him. You say you want something? Fine. Stop wanting it and start thinking from it. That's all you're asked to do. That's how you receive everything. It's all imagination. God Himself is your imagination, and He tells you, choose this day. Well, start choosing better. That's the only suggestion I can give you. Think so?
I do. And you said, and we've talked about this before, but you said, stop thinking of and start thinking from. And many people hear that, and they really complicate it. But it's actually quite simple. We do it all the time. Before I got on the call, I said, well, let me go downstairs and grab something to eat before I get on the call. I consciously thought about getting something to eat, went downstairs, got something to eat, ate, came back, and we're on the call. This is how we manifest everything.
Right. You're absolutely right. That's the whole point. It's so super simple. They can't believe it. That's it. That's what's hard to believe, is that it's so simple. But then again, consider who's giving it to you. God Himself. He's telling you, these things I do, you shall do also. Didn't Jesus make that plain to you? He told you that these things I do, you will do also. And then He added, and even greater. Well, who does greater things than Jesus but God Himself? And He's telling you that's who you are. Start acting like it. Not in the way man would act like it. No. You still are thinking on things that are lovely and a good report. And if you are, then you'll be experiencing them. That's what He's telling you. That's the promise He made you. If you'll think upon it, He'll give it to you. But if you get off subject, then it goes away. It stops. Everything stops when you stop. Understand that. You can start 100 times, but every time you stop, it stops. So all you're doing is putting off, in other words, the self-denial. You're the one denying you. Don't be telling God He's denying you. Oh, He gave you choose this day. He didn't put any restrictions on. I didn't hear one restriction on choose this day. Did you?
I did not.
Well, then He must have left it wide open, right? That's it.
I agree.
Yeah, He left it wide open for you. You know. I mean, if you can't choose something better than you got, well, go see a psychiatrist. I think a lot of people really don't understand that the Scriptures are psychological. It's a psychological drama. It's a play. And God is playing all the parts. But He's allowing you, the individual, choose this day. And you're about doing so, whether you're aware or not. All DeCarlo and I are doing is making you aware that you have a valid say. You have a choice. You can choose better than the best. And if you're not doing so, well, good luck with that.
You said about Scripture being a psychological drama. Far too many of us, and I grew up believing that Scripture was history. And so there were a lot of questions I had because, of course, I was basing the information that I was receiving from a history lesson. I'm like, well, that can't be true, because if that's true, then this would have to have happened, and that couldn't have happened. So many people are struggling right now because they're looking at Scripture as a history lesson.
That's right.
It's the greatest book on spiritual psychology, if you understand it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's it. In other words, it's all you. Understand? It's all the individual. And no two individuals are alike. You don't even have a tree in the forest that has two leaves alike. Why would he make people alike? He wants to experience everything, so he made enough of us that we do it all. You think that's the way it happened?
I do, and I like what you just said. You said that he wants to experience everything. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, he's experiencing it through you.
That's it.
Wherever you are.
That's it. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, he's experiencing it too. So if you don't mind it, he can handle it. I don't know about you. I give in too quick. Right away I said, "Oh Lord, this isn't happening, is it?" But it did. And I allowed it. And I denied it. So that meant I get to do it again. You see, when you deny your evidence of your senses, you get to do it again. Because you're thinking on it to deny it. You're giving it life. You're saying it is a substance. It has something. And that's only you thinking of it is the only life it experiences. And when you take your attention away, it goes away. But that's not easy to do. Never said any of this is easy. It's simple. Yes, it is simple, very simple. He made it simple on purpose so that you wouldn't miss it. But we did anyway. And that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to figure out how we missed it. And you did. But it stays with you. I'm with you always. Doesn't that sound like immortality? If he's telling you he's with you always?
Absolutely.
I mean, that tells you right there that the dying here doesn't change anything, because God doesn't die. So, oh, wow. I love it. I got this little fixture sitting on top of my old Tandy, and it's the two birds. It's the mother bird and the little bird. And I guess it must be his first flight, because he's looking at the mother, and the mother's kind of like avoiding his look. Because he's taking the first flight. But you see, that's it. God's doing the same thing. He's telling you, oh, good luck, good luck. But you have to believe in something, and you do. You believe in many things. But do you believe the right things? That's all you have to do is check it off for yourself. You just bring it before yourself and judge it for yourself. This is not good. This is good. I'll do this. I won't do that. It's all that simple. It isn't easy to do, because just being honest with yourself, which took me a long time to get to that point. Just being honest with what you're actually looking at, that you're doing and being and having. And to see it, like you say, that would be scary too. At first, anyway. But as you learn to let things go, you're not bothered by them anymore. But you do have to honestly let it go. And that's what you're told. Let go and let God. And if you give it to God, it's done. It's gone. It's done. So it's always up to you. I will do this thing. I will not do this thing. Because he gave you choice. So you either do it or you don't do it. And that's the whole question. Your say is valid, so you can do it if you want to. And if you're passionate about it, you can do it in less time, the more passionate you are. Or, as someone would say, wholehearted. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever you're really wholehearted about, you got it. Just stay the course. You think?
I do, and I like what you were just saying, because what it makes me reflect upon, you said this moments ago, but whatsoever. You're given to choose whatsoever. We've placed limitations on whatsoever, what it looks like. But God has placed no such limitation, so even the secular person that knows nothing about this principle, if he or she says to themselves, I'm going to be mega rich, whatever, super celebrity, mega star, whatever, and they set their attention on that, we look at them in the future and we say, man, how did they become so famous? How did they get all this notoriety and so forth? How did they get to this level? And you would say they made a decision. They chose this day who it was that they were going to be.
That's it. And all of those detractors, they said, how did Trump ever get to be president? Because he believed it.
Absolutely.
That's it. He believed it. And because he believed it so strongly, things were changed. And he got to be president. That doesn't say it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's how he got to be president.
Absolutely.
He believed in himself that he could do that. Of course, when he got there, he realized he didn't know what these do, but that's okay.
That's another story.
Another story. And that was coming out, too, in book form.
Well, you know, the wonderful thing, it's like he's no different than most of us. You know, we begin this journey and, you know, we aspire to do something, whatever that something is. And when you initially get there, you don't always know what to do.
You know, we're all in survival mode, and the strong ones survive the best. Because they think strongly. And if you don't do that, you don't get to be strong. It says, let the weak man say, I am strong. Let the sick man say, I am well. You only get that when you claim it. You understand? You got to claim it. It's not giving it to you unless you claim it. You receive not because you ask not, or you're asking amiss. So you got to believe it. And you can, because if you trust God, what is there to believe? It's done. He said, give it to me, I'll take care of it. So why wouldn't you do that? Because you don't believe it. You believe in the problem. You believe in the trouble you're having. Why can't you believe in the fulfillment of your desire? It's the same mind. It's the same power. And you're operating the power, so you can call it anything you want. And that's what whatsoever means. I had a hard time figuring that one out. I did. Actually, you don't figure anything out. It's all revelation. But you have to be open to it. You know what I'm saying? You actually have to be open to the revelation. Otherwise, it just bounce right off of you like bullets off Superman. But no, you have a valid say. Really, your say, every word. Understand that is taken into culmination to make up your world of experiencing. If you're thinking erratically, then your life is erratic. It doesn't have any path to take, but you do have a path, and the path was Jesus. Jesus is the path. You'll experience everything he did, and you'll do the things he did, and, as he said, even greater. I mean, think only on the lovely of it, because it is. And you know, the woman who was confused that you were talking about, hey, it takes the same mind to be confused as it does to be joyful. You're your own enemy. Pogo said, you know, I have found the enemy, and he is I. And that was more religion than most people get going to church for 40 years. Same mind, which way are you using it?